Today's date is March 24th, 2012. Speaking is Special Agent Supervisor David Lee with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. It is now 11:09 a.m. We're at the Sanford Police Department main station. Also present in the room is Special Agent Johnny Batchelor with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and Firefighter EMT Kevin O'Rourke. Yes, correct, sir?
That is correct.
As you can see, the conversation we're having is being tape recorded or digitally recorded.
I can.
Okay. Can I get you to raise your right hand, sir? Do you solemnly swear or affirm a statement you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. For the record, would you state and spell your full name?
My name is Kevin Patrick O'Rourke, Kevin Patrick O''Rourke.
Okay. And you're currently employed with the Sanford Police Fire Department?
Yes.
Fire Department.
Yes, sir, I am.
I apologize for that. How long have you been employed as a firefighter?
10 years.
10 years. On February 26, 2012, at approximately around 7:30 p.m. hours, did you respond to an emergency call on Retreat View Circle?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Would you just kind of give me a narrative of what occurred from the time you, I guess, got on the truck to the time you got back on the truck?
We responded to that call from on the road. We just returned from another transport. We were shooting down up Salem, headed back towards the station. We got the call. We went the normal route to Retreat View Circle, given our circumstance. We arrived on scene approximately 5 minutes after we were dispatched. There were several police vehicles already on scene. We were directed to the rear of the townhouse building. We were told that we had a shooting victim and that the police were performing CPR. Okay. On arrival, that statement appeared to be true. There were several officers around the victim or the body. And we arrived on scene. We placed our 4-lead on him, and we found that he was a sister lead in all leads. And the medic on scene, Mike Brandy, called it right there, and we did a no vitals, no code. And from that point on, we gathered up our equipment that we had brought. We were, the best I can remember, they were telling us that they had another patient with the police, and he was sitting in the back of the police car, and we treated him for, he had 1 or 2 lacerations on the back of his head and what looked to be a fractured nose, and we cleaned the blood off of his head and face, and we treated him best we could, and once the bleeding was under control, we left him with the SPD, and we backed out of the scene and we went home.
Okay, let's back up just a little bit. When you guys, the victim, this gunshot victim, is that the individual now known as Trayvon Martin?
Yes.
Okay. When you say we,
I say we as a unit, me and my partner Mike Brandy, so Rescue 38.
You and Mike Brandy basically do the medical treatment on anyone?
We all do the entire, if we run calls with both an engine and a rescue, the medic on scene is in charge of that medical scene. Okay. However, we're on all hands involved sort of department. So okay. If I'm driving the fire truck or I'm driving the rescue, it doesn't matter. If I'm on that scene, I'm assisting in the medical call, per the lieutenant's discretion, unless I'm told otherwise.
Okay, so on this particular, with Mr. Martin, what did you specifically do?
I got on scene, I grabbed the backboard and the airway bag, and we went down to the scene, and I placed him on the monitor, if I remember correctly.
When you say place him on the monitor?
I placed him. I put the stickers on him that check his heart. And
you got to remember,
okay, that's fine.
I'm not a medic, so
we don't have to use colloquial speech. I put the heart monitor on him, and we assessed him in the 3 lead.
Okay.
That's what I did, and then once that was done, I disconnected him, and I walked away from the scene and went to treat we now know as Zimmerman.
Okay. Earlier you said that when you put him on the monitor, and the monitor indicated what?
Asystole. It's a flat line.
Flat line, which indicates no heartbeat whatsoever.
Which indicates no heartbeat whatsoever, and at that time we call what's known as a no vitals, no code, which means he's DOA, and we're not. He was unworkable in the.
Right, and the paramedic Mike Brandy, he was responsible for making that call. Correct?
Yes, he was.
Okay, and that's his job.
That's his job.
Is he the only one who can make that call?
On scene, yes, he's the one that can make that call. I'm sure under certain circumstances the lieutenant could make that call, but you know we allow our medics to make those calls.
Okay, so Mr. Martin was never conscious, never made any statements.
No, sir. He was DOA on our arrival.
Okay, all right. So you're through with him. Y'all backed away from that, realizing it's the. Let me ask you this: did you know what caused his death?
It was very evident that it was a gunshot wound.
Okay, how do you know it was evident?
Because I saw it.
Oh, you saw
there
it.
was a gunshot wound to his chest.
I guess when you were placing the pads, I
yes.
guess you had to. Did you lift his shirt up, pull his shirt up, roll his shirt up?
If I remember, I think his shirt was already rolled up. I think they had already disrobed him at the time. We had been really busy that night, and it had been just pouring rain and everything, so it was kind of a blurry scene. And at the time, we didn't even have ID on the guy. I mean, he was a John Doe until several days later. We couldn't get any information on him, so we were in and out.
So you backed out of that scene, and then you treated Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes, that's correct.
And your treatment of him consisted of just cleaning up his wounds?
Yeah, you could say that.
Was he transported?
No, he was not.
Did he decline transport?
Yes, he did. I believe so.
Okay. While you were cleaning up his wounds, did he ever make any statements to you or in your presence?
Not that there was a lot going on. Not that I recall really. I don't think he might have. I'm not sure.
Who was working with you on Mr. Zimmerman?
Stacy Livingston, Tyler Rochefort. And we were the entire, Station 38 crew was there. There's a lot going on at the time.
Right.
You kind of just do your job, and you don't really.
So, as far as Mr. Zimmerman's treatment, what specifically did you do?
What did I do? If I remember correctly, I was getting the gauze, pouring hydrogen peroxide on gauze and giving it to Stacy, who was cleaning it. I was assisting her in cleaning his wounds, getting the equipment ready for that.
Okay. Stacy being the... Stacy Livingston?
Stacy Livingston. She was driving Engine 38, I believe, at the time.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we haven't spoken to her yet.
No.
Okay. And you recall no statements he made in your presence?
No, I don't recall any.
Okay. After you treated him, what did you do then?
Well, I gathered up my equipment and got my truck back in order. Got all the gear that we had brought down to the scene. We got to bring backwards, and replaced all of the gauze in the trauma bag that we used to treat Mr. Zimmerman. Just basically got my truck and equipment back in order, and then waited for my, to be cleared of the scene, and then we had to back the truck out because we couldn't pull forward, and we left.
Okay. When you were there with Mr. Zimmerman, when you were treating him, did you speak to him, talk to him about his injuries, ask him if he was hurting or anything like that? Or
I'm sure I did. I can't recall anything that I said, though. I'm sorry.
That's fine. John?
When you were treating Mr. Zimmerman, and I'm assuming you were in close proximity because you were having to clean, can you give a description of what he was wearing?
A shirt and jeans, I guess. I don't remember exactly. A shirt and jeans. I know he was covered in a pretty significant amount of blood. I can tell you that. It took a little while to clean him up. But as far as his shirt, and I think he was wearing pretty much a standard polo shirt, I think, and some jeans. I don't really remember specifics.
Okay. The victim, who we now know as Trayvon Martin, can you describe his clothing as well?
No. I mean, the only reason I can describe it is because I've seen it in the news so much that he was very...
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Just your observation.
No, I don't remember.
And that's okay.
That's just fine.
Right.
When you said significant amount of blood, can we define it a little better?
In terms of what, like a volume? I mean,
His face, his coverage of the face and head.
it was, I would say, coverage of face and head. I mean, maybe 45% of him was covered in blood. I mean, he had a substantial amount of dried blood on his cheeks and on the back of his head.
Cheeks and the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
How about his clothing?
His clothing may have been covered in blood. I mean, clothing doesn't bleed, so I really don't.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Ripped down stuff.
There was some blood on his shirt, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Excuse me. Is there anything that we haven't asked you about that you think is significant that you want to add for the record?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
I just have one question. In your 10 years of experience as a firefighter, you've seen lots of situations with blood and different types.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, okay. All right. It is now 11:20 a.m. and that concludes this interview.
Oh, well, thanks, guys.